10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ninja vanish.
Well, hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
Straighten up my workbench. I switched the computers around. I got me like a paint rack. I need to clean off the other side, so I'll put together other paint rack together.
Nice.
Trying to make it look
audience?
where I'm doing this professionally.
What's up, 308, Tomcat, John Brown, Eric? What's up, guys? The only people that are speaking right now. It's okay. I get it. Some people just want to be quiet. Just want to be quiet and watch the world burn. I get it completely. We'll hold on to that.
I watched the Godzilla Kong New Empire today.
I did as well. We're definitely going to talk about that today. I'm going to start off with a little project I'm working on right now. I got this. And I got this.
Got to have a medal.
Yeah. You have to. By the way, to do this, you have to completely disassemble it. Because this piece, this is like 4 different pieces once you take the arms off. And then this is, with the legs, this is 6 pieces. So you have to unscrew everything and then cut everything piece by piece to get it to where I can have the hole in the bottom be where I want it. So then I've got to build it up. And really, I only need to build it up like about that much. That much, give or take. Because I'm going to have it to where they're sitting in there at an angle instead of just standing up like most people modify it. And then the thing's like this tall. You know?
Yeah.
So I got that in today, so I'm playing around with that.
Or you could also I've seen some people just use like a half a figure.
Yeah, and that's some hook ass shit. So I'm not doing none of that half figure crap.
Which I have a ton of. Was his name that tank guy? Bonebreaker torsos.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got a ton of them too, but that's not the point. I want to be able to put any figure in here, so I wanted to get it cut out enough to where I can actually get them like in at a slight angle to where their feet can come at least, forward a little bit so that they're not just standing straight up and down. So, but so I got it cut out the way I wanted. And now I got to figure out the center connecting piece, because what I've seen a lot of people do is they just take the whole bottom out of this. Like they just cut everything off except where the legs attach and then put something in there. But then the legs don't work and there's no more rotation anymore.
Oh,
if you do that, you kill the rotation and you don't have the articulation for the legs. I'm like, well, no, I want to keep all that. So I had to cut it just right. That's why it fits in. It's still, you could glue that back together and it would still work.
Right.
But to do that, you can't just cut it. You have to disassemble it to do that. That's okay. It's my next project. So trying to figure out, I know we talked about doing styrene to build that up. So I'm probably going to use styrene for the panels outside, but I'm going to try and find something better than styrene for the support. Like I'm going to build a support structure for it first, because I want to be able to use it. I don't want it to be so delicate that you can't use it. So I'm going to try and build a support structure for it first.
That's why
styrene over the outside.
That's why I was suggesting using the plastic weld.
Yeah.
Instead of super glue, because the super glue actually makes styrene brittle.
Yeah.
The plastic weld will melt it and weld it together.
Yeah. So, yep. Anyway, I just got it in the mail today, and I was like, well, let me go ahead and get it disassembled and cut where I want it cut. And then I can start piecing together how I'm going to build it back up. So, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let's see. Dookie Doo's here.
What's up, homie?
Oh, so it's the betrayer in chief.
Betrayer, what?
Yeah. So you were supposed to let me know when you're going to do your cemetery cornfield show.
No. Okay, hold on. All right,
And
let me
also,
explain.
you were supposed to do it at night,
Let me
not
explain.
like a little bitch, and do it in the daylight.
Let me explain.
Uh-huh.
I have been demonetized even before I got a chance to be monetized.
Yeah.
So it's all jacked up. And I said, well, let me figure some things out. I was sick, but I still did something. And I just did a walk chat where I walked near and in the cemetery a few times and showed people the cornfield that doesn't exist because there's no corn planted yet. And I just it was just like a joke chat. But so I got to figure something out. I don't know. I don't want it to be about money, but that was like the incentive was like, okay, you give more and I'll do goofy stuff and stay in there. But
YouTube, like screwing with people?
Yeah.
What?
So I have I don't know. We'll figure something out of what we want to do. But anyways, I gave the people something, and that was it. But so how was okay? What do you? So what? Okay, are you excited for tomorrow? I am.
I am very excited for tomorrow. Yes,
because we're gonna. I have okay. I am happy.
By the way, I don't feel like this is a one and done season.
I don't think it's a one and done season, or I think it's a one and done season that is going to lead to another larger part. So I think
unless they both die tomorrow in tomorrow's episode,
they're not dying.
And it's not a one and done, and those characters will either be on a second season or on another show.
So this is what's going to happen. This is my prediction. We go on some adventure. We blow up some things. We find out what the echelon briefing is. Whatever. They don't go back home yet.
By the way, real quick, we are talking about the new Walking Dead show, The Ones Who Live. For those that don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry. So they do some stuff. They find out the echelon. They blow some stuff up. They pretty much cripple the CRM. I'm not going to say destroy the CRM, but they're going to cripple it. And they've killed Jadis. They're going to get rid of Jadis's secrets on them. And then they're both going to survive. No one's dying. And they are going to survive. And then they're going to head home. And then there's going to be a conglomerate of one big mission or event that brings them all to do something with Daryl, Carol, Rick, Michonne, Negan, Maggie. That's going to happen. So we'll see what that is, because they're going to mess around with. They're going to continue with little Daryl and Daryl's show. They're going to continue on because Negan and Maggie's they're filming.
They're doing another scene. Isn't that bullshit?
Yeah, they are, man. They're filming, which I really could care less about it. I thought it was mediocre at best. I don't want any more of it. I wanted this. So, anyways. But if it's tying into the big show. So, anyways, that's my prediction overall. I think they're both safe. And that's it. I mean, but I've been happy along the way. And so this is going to give us what we want. The good thing is it's done really well for AMC. And it's done so that shows that Rick has potential and continuation and the money they'll need to throw at him to keep him and do whatever ending that they're really going to do. Yeah. But this isn't the end. This is just this is them bringing him back for the real ending. So
I guess
that's where I'm at. What do you think?
I don't know. I think, I mean, I do think that, again, and they would be incredibly stupid to do this, but unless they just kill them off, these characters are not done. And they do have plans for them to come back. Like I said, whether it's a season 2 or another show, or maybe they're putting something together so that, Maggie and Negan can get their season 2 and Daryl and Carol can get their season 2 and then it's all going to come into one other show where it's them fighting the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll be back because they're not going to kill off. I mean, if they wanted to literally piss off every fan more than they ever have before, then they would kill them off in tomorrow's episode.
Yep.
I don't think they're that stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they're not that fucking stupid.
Well, I hope they don't kill Rick. That's really what I care about.
Well, you can't kill Rick until he gets to meet his son. I'm sorry.
Right.
You cannot kill Rick until he gets to meet his son and see Judith again. If you do that, you have just fucked up.
Yeah, and you've made it all for nothing.
Yes.
All this strife, all this everything. So he can't die. You can't kill Michonne off.
No.
And so
Especially,
I'm thinking,
and just on a like a behind the scenes kind of thing, Michonne's career. That Denai Guerrero, I can't pronounce her fucking name, has not turned out the way that she probably thought it would in the movies because of, the Marvel movies and everything like that. Yeah. And so I don't think she's like in a hurry to leave. You know what I mean?
Nope.
So,
and whatever they paid him for these 6 episodes has probably been very pleasant for him.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, what has he done?
I can hear. I'm just
what has Rick really done beyond this? What has Andrew Lincoln done? He's done like a Christmas Carol. He did like a movie, but he's going to be Mark Hamill, and other. He's going to have a few things here and there. And I understand that Mark Hamill had a successful career in voice acting, but Andrew Lincoln is going to be Rick Grimes, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not going on to do other stuff. And unlike Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who had a huge, backing even before he came to Walking Dead, and has continued to be, I think, successful around Walking Dead. It's just the way it's going to be. So, anyways, I'm excited tomorrow. I cannot wait to watch it and see what happens to our Rick Grimes, and to see, whatever they give us, leave some strings out there. That's what I loved about when they killed him when he died on the bridge, this last scene where he's in a helicopter. That was awesome. You know what I mean? Like that. I love fringe stuff like that lets you argue and debate on what things mean. So this is exciting. So anyways, that's good. And I am glad that we've gotten away from this anti-gun thing, because this has been a very gun-centered show. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, I get people want to push a political agenda, but like, this is a zombie show. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fucking zombie show. Like, come on. I don't need. It makes no sense story wise to be throwing that crap because of Angela Chang. Is that her name?
Angela Kang.
Yeah, Kang. Because she was very open about being anti-gun and all that kind of stuff. So she took guns out of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, like there were barely any guns in the last 2 seasons.
What the hell, dude? Like that's not realistic. And I get it; it's a zombie show, but come on.
Like I want guns, and you write it into there that they found some ammo and they built some ammo. Like I don't care. Like I don't care. It's about guns. We're gun people watching gun shows about killing zombies.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Exactly.
I don't like it with the whole when they got no ammo and they all got spear. I like when they add it in. I would want a sword. There's 100% reason I would want a sword in The Walking Dead, but I would have a sword in a Beretta.
Yeah, it doesn't make
what melee weapon would you want?
Oh, dude, we've talked about this before. There's so many good ones. I can see the argument for a good hatchet, like Rick's hatchet. There's a reason I own one.
Yeah, I have a cold steel. Yeah,
it gives you a little bit of a reach, but it's easy to wield one-handed.
Oh, that's true.
It's very effective.
Yeah.
But who can handle a hatchet better, Rick or Uncle Buck?
It's true. I mean, Uncle Buck can take the balls off a gnat, but yeah, I can definitely see the argument for that. If you're going with a two-handed weapon, I know a lot of people say swords, and I get that, but I would want more of a bashing weapon myself. I like the idea of not necessarily Negan's bat, because I think there's a lot of downsides to that bat. Like, it's cool and intimidating, but realistically, no. I like I've got that Cold Steel Brooklyn Crusher.
Yep.
Which is a polymer bat with a steel core shoved down the middle of it. So it doesn't break, it doesn't splinter. It also doesn't hurt you if you accidentally hit yourself with it like Negan's bat does.
Right, would kill you because
you know what I mean. So I would say either like a Cold Steel Brooklyn Crusher bat, or even just an aluminum bat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can do a lot with an aluminum bat. That's a like I get the sword thing. I really do. I get the sword thing.
No, because at the end, just being able to like just a blunt strike.
Yeah.
Because that would be advantage.
With that, you don't have to be precise with it like you do with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
You can just swing, crack, swing, crack, swing, crack. You know what I mean?
Sword
you can kind of go to town with it, which I really like that idea. So I think, my two favorites are going to be, if it's a one-handed thing, it's going to be a hatchet. If it's a two-handed thing, it's going to be some form of bat.
Well, and you can even that Cold Steel hatchet, you could turn it around. So you're hitting them with the blunt, with that side end, not the actual sharp edge of the axe, of the hatchet. So you're actually hitting them.
By the way, my Cold Steel hatchet.
That's exactly, yeah. See, Rick's was just cut down. Like you would just cut, like that's what Rick's was in the comic. That's exactly. That looks like the comic version, anyways.
And my Brooklyn Crusher.
Oh, and that's awesome. And see, by the way, I loved the last episode. Two things I do want to talk about that real quick. Number one, there's a bunch of throwbacks to the comics because even his arm is wrapped up perfectly like the comics was, with missing his hand, which is so cool to me. I'm so glad they did it. They've done it so right because it doesn't cripple him because of his new hand he has, which makes it awesome. And then number two, it just throws back to the comics where he was missing a hand. So I love that, by the way. Number two, I am frustrated. There is one thing that I didn't like about this episode. Can you guess what it is? They didn't shoot those people in the face. Noodle thing, man. Okay, listen, I get it. I guess on the other end, it showed how feeble they were in even comparison to Rick. Because he's like, look, we could turn this back. And he just like they just took him out like they were nothing. And then gave him a gun back. You know what I mean? So I guess it does show like how awesome they are and how like piddly these people are compared to Rick and Michonne. But it still kind of bothered me because they ended up coming back and being somewhat of a menace. And I'm like, you still haven't learned? But then I guess as talking through it, I guess I can forgive it because they're so it's like, does an ant really bother you? No. Well, that's an ant compared to Rick Grimes. So anyways.
They're trying to show that like, they're better than everybody else and they don't do the shit that everybody else does. And I get that. But even Rick was like, which I did appreciate him at least like acknowledging when she's like, oh, we're going to give you some ramen and all this stuff. And he's like, really?
Yeah.
He was like, wait, what?
Yeah. What are we doing here?
He's like, oh, okay. All right, I guess. But yeah. So, I mean, it's, by the way, I'm sitting here still fucking with my microphone because I can't get my microphone to stay up because my stand broke. For those of you wondering what the fuck I'm doing right now, it's annoying the shit out of me. But
keeping it up at certain ages is hard.
Yeah, apparently. Trying to get this fucking thing to stay, and it just doesn't want to fucking stay. No matter what I do, I've been fucking with this thing for 24 hours, and every time I think I've got it, it fucking falls down again. So it's just annoying the ever-loving shit out of me. But anyway, God damn it. Oh, we're just gonna set it there. But yeah, I mean, it's I see what you're saying. And honestly, in that situation, like he should have just shot them in the face.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. And I talked to you in text about it too. The one regret I have from this show, and I understand they chose to go down a certain path, but what you and I had envisioned even a year, maybe probably 2 years ago, we talked about this.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to see Rick turn into some kind of monster. where he was like, because we asked like what would keep him away for 7 years, and the only thing I could come up was that he was chained up and beaten and a slave, or he was some sort of just shell of a man that was imprisoned, and that we would see this like unhinged Wolverine, like Rick Grimes. And we're not going to see that. And I hope we do maybe this last episode. I want to see something where he like totally comes unhinged and is like, you took everything from me and I'm going to make you all pay. I want to see that. I want to see that moment where he realizes like, okay, this general or whoever, the CRM, like these guys are like took me away for years from my family. So I'm going to make them all pay now. And I do want to see that. I want to see
that's what it would have to be too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because that's what's going to piss him off. Like, because the last time we saw, I mean, we've seen what I like to refer to as appropriate Rick, end of season 4 and season 5.
Yeah.
And that's really the only time we really saw Rick at his most intense. I dare to say
grimiest.
But like at his most terrifying.
Yeah.
And it kind of started when he had to bite that dude's throat out who was attacking Carl. And it kind of ended after he took out that dude
Mitch
in front of the mayor. Was it Mitch? Yeah.
Yeah, he took out Mitch in front of the mayor. No, Mitch got killed. Whatever that guy's was name. I can't remember.
Yeah, whatever the guy was where he took Michonne's sword and just sliced his throat.
Yeah.
So we had that like little over a season of story going through there, where you had that version of Rick who had just kind of lost all sympathy for other human beings.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it would take like somebody threatening Judith or RJ or whatever to get him to do that again. And maybe they'll do that in this last episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think that there's going to be a moment where, he is confronted and has to unleash the beast within and show them like, I'm going to win, and you're not going to kill Michonne, you're not going to kill me. I got to get home to my kids, and like I hope there's like 5 guys in the room and he's just like murdering all of them.
Yes.
I'm hoping to see like some real brutal intent. So that's my hope for the season, and that we get some kind of like, hope for a big ending with Daryl back and they're all together in some adventure or final quest. And I do want them to end it in a good way. And then you know what you can do? You can end it, and then you can do another whole show and start from the beginning, or you can do other things and play in between and go back, and there's all kinds of things you can do if you want to stay in the universe. But give them a proper send-off or something, Yeah.
They need to do something. I don't know. We'll see. I think everything hinges on this next episode. So,
oh yeah,
we'll see where it goes, man. It's there's potential there. All 5 episodes have been good, which is unheard of in the last 5 years of Walking Dead.
Yep.
Like it's just we haven't had a solid run of 5 episodes in The Walking Dead in a very, very long time. Yep. So it's pointing us in the right direction. I will say that. Let me get this super chat here. Justin Booth dropped in 1, says, we'll probably see some of the characters from World Beyond in the finale. Elton, Iris, Aisha, and Indra's people make their way to Portland. Maybe. I mean, there was some good characters in World Beyond, and there was some good world building in World Beyond. The issue with World Beyond was the main storyline with these kids. First of all, it started out really, really bad in the first season. The first season was trash.
Mm-hmm.
First season of World Beyond was trash. Second season was considerably better. It was watchable. I don't want to make you think that means it's good, but it was watchable. And so if and there was good characters in that, and they did some great world building. So I wouldn't mind seeing some of the good aspects of that second season make its way. I wouldn't have a problem with that. So we'll see where it goes from there. I don't know.
I would like to see Morgan. That's who I really want to see. That's the one person I want to see in this ending.
Yeah, as we've gotten closer and closer to the end, I'm feeling less and less like we're gonna see him in this season.
Okay.
And the reason being is because last time we saw Morgan, for those that watched Fear the Walking Dead, when he left, he was headed to Alexandria to go find Rick. And Rick is not, well, they're in like fucking Montana or something.
Yeah.
So they're nowhere near Alexandria. So if we do see Morgan, it's going to be a quick flash over to Alexandria. We're not going to see Michonne and Rick in Alexandria. There's just not enough time.
Yeah, I know. There's no way that they make it back to Alexandria.
Yeah. They're headed in the opposite direction. So, I mean,
I don't know. Maybe they do want to show us the kids getting to see mom and dad again.
I mean, I think they do. I just don't think there's enough time to do it in this last episode and finish out this whole story that they're building up.
Yeah, because then you just end with them there, and then what's going to happen after that?
Yeah. So, you know, it's I don't know, but look, good stories, good characters. It's going in a good direction. I'm not mad at it right now. Yes, there's lots of things I would like to have seen or like to see in this season, but I get what they're doing. I'm okay with it. If the end point of this is to build up a Daryl, Carol, Negan, Maggie, Rick, Michonne, Morgan reunion at some point,
I ain't mad.
Then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd actually really love to see. I'd love to see a scene where we get Negan and Rick just fucking people up in the CRM together.
Oh yes, together. Oh yes, that picture that you ever seen that fan art? It shows Rick with, and this is kind of prophetic, but like it was Rick in a chair with his one hand, and then Negan is like beside him with Lucille, and Rick is kind of looking like old man Rick, and it's kind of a cool little fan art depiction, but that's what it could be, man. I'd love to see Rick and Negan back together. And somebody posted like, well, what's going to happen when Rick finds out that Negan, got let out? And I'm like, well, he's going to be happy. He's going to be happy because it shows he was right to keep Negan, because Negan ended up helping them and saving them. And it proves, to his point, that people can change.
Yep.
So, like, it's not going to make him mad. He's going to be like, yeah, look, I told y'all.
Yeah, I mean, Negan saved Judith. So,
yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's gonna mean he was right for doing what he did and not killing Negan. And yeah. So, and plus, if Maggie can put up with Negan, then Rick certainly can.
Yeah. So,
yeah. But I think look, it's going in a good direction. I don't want to jinx it. There's obviously a lot I would love to see, but I'm not going to ask for too much because, again, we're getting better Walking Dead than we've gotten in a really, really, really long time. I'm okay with it. I'll let it play out. I'm not going to sit there and harp too much on why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? It's like, okay, well, you're doing good stories. I get it. Okay, cool. Just let's see where this goes. Yeah. And we'll go from there. So,
yep, that's how I feel.
I'm okay with it. Okay, next thing I want to talk about here, the quote unquote big movie that came out this weekend. I did watch Godzilla versus Kong. Or not Godzilla versus Kong. This is Godzilla X Kong.
New
Godzilla
Empire.
and Kong. So I watched that today. Now, most of you out there know, famously, I hated the last one, which was very disappointing because I really, really liked where all this stuff had been going for the last few years. Like,
King of the Monsters was so good. Then you went.
Oh, King of Monsters was great. The first Godzilla movie was okay. I guess it was a good reintroduction to the character. It wasn't the greatest movie, but it was okay. I didn't hate it. I love Kong Skull Island, and I love King of the Monsters. Those two movies are just fantastic. I love them. And then Godzilla vs. Kong came out, and it was a steaming pile of shit.
Yeah.
So I went into this one very hesitantly, And ultimately, what my opinion of it is, I didn't hate it the way I hated Godzilla versus Kong. That being said, look, it is, I guess to sum it up, it is cheesy, predictable, dumb fun, is what I would say about the movie. It's not to the level that King of the Monsters or Kong Skull Island was. Those were both far better movies, but it is not the steaming pile of shit that Godzilla versus Kong was. It was I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, this is just kind of dumb fun. There was nothing stupid in it. There was nothing that didn't make sense in it. Like the storyline made sense, which was one of my biggest problems from Godzilla versus Kong, is the storyline made no fucking sense whatsoever. This one made sense. However, it's not like some highbrow fucking movie or anything. It's kind of cheesy, dumb fun. And I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Overall, I enjoyed it. Kong is definitely the main character in this, not Godzilla.
Yep, Godzilla's, even though he's the title character, but he's hardly in the movie.
Yeah, he's hardly in the movie. He shows up, which I'm okay with, because, you know, Godzilla got main status in Godzilla, in King of the Monsters, and he got most of the screen time in the last piece of shit too. So I'm okay with Kong kind of.
I did like that one scene with Kong when that one gorilla was getting in his face, being like trying to intimidate him, and Kong just one punch and right in the face.
Oh yeah, just fucked him up. They did a great job with Kong. I liked Kong, man. I was cheering for Kong in this movie.
Kong, they did. This movie's almost like a redemption arc for a Kong.
Yes,
he still can't kick Godzilla's ass because Godzilla like went like nuclear in this movie. So he's really at the end of the movie, you almost could say he didn't even need Kong.
Yeah, it was. They gave Kong a good story arc. It's mostly his movie. Godzilla's like, you see him here and there sprinkled throughout the movie. He, you know, as Monarch is watching him and things like that. But all the direct story is all about Kong.
Yep.
And it was good. It was good. And then you get the whole, you know, the whole payoff at the end. And look, you know, I mean, it's a dumb, fun movie, but like, there's not much to spoil. But I'll try not to spoil too much. But yeah, I mean, you know, for those, I hate to tell you this, it's Godzilla and Kong team up against two other, at least for a while, two other
like variants of Kong and Zilla.
Yeah, they team up with two for a while, or they go against two for a while, and then that gets turned into 3-on-1 real quick. But you know, I mean, look, they win in the end. I mean, this is not a secret. It's a fucking Godzilla and Kong movie. They win in the end. Okay, like there's not. If you didn't know that, if you think that's a spoiler, I don't know what to tell you. But it, you know, it's got good. The human characters are not annoying in this movie, primarily because they don't focus too much on them. Like they're there and they're important to the story.
The one that was annoying got
story is Kong. The what?
The one that was like a little being a jerk got eaten quick.
Yeah. That one asshole he fucking got taken out as soon as they got to the Hollow Earth. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was done well. It's not the greatest movie ever. If you like Godzilla, you like King Kong, you like big monster movies, stuff like that. It definitely is something you should see because it's fun.
It's no minus one, but it is.
Oh no. That's on a whole different level of excellent storytelling and filmmaking. Although this does have more action than Godzilla -1, but it's, you know, it's dumb fun action is what it is. That's what this movie is. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun. Didn't feel like I wasted my time. I liked getting a story that focused on Kong. I like Kong.
Yep.
And I feel like he kind of got the shaft in the last movie. Well, I feel like everybody in that last movie got the shaft because it's a piece of shit. But You know, so I liked it. I enjoyed it quite a
You still
bit.
get that huge plot hole from the second one where you have to have these special portals to travel to the from middle of the hollow earth to the outside, but Godzilla can just blast a freaking hole in it.
Yeah, and then Kong can climb up that hole in about 2 minutes, even though that hole is. And I actually did the math on this at one point. That hole would have to be about 3,900 miles long from where they were in Antarctica to come out in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be about. He was able to climb up a hole that's 3,900 miles long in about 2 minutes, which is the most ridiculous shit ever. Which is just one of the many things that I didn't like about that last movie. But yeah, overall, man, it was a good, fun movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Had fun. There's not much more to say about it than that. It was cool. It was good special effects. Most of the time spent in the Hollow Earth, which I wasn't sure I was going to like, but ended up enjoying the hell out of it. Yeah, very little of the movie takes place above ground.
There is this trope that I'm tired of where they want to take a black character and make them like kind of cowardly and won't shut up type character. That needs to end. Let's just let them. Let's.
Yeah. Well, that dude, they had established his character from the last movie, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he'd gone through no character growth since the last movie.
Yep.
So even given everything that he went through in the last movie, he had no character growth at all. So, but yeah, it was still fun. I enjoyed it. I had fun, and that's ultimately what it boils down to. He's not going to win any awards. Probably won't be in my top 10 at the end of the year or anything like that. But did I have fun? Yeah, hell yeah, I had fun.
I'm still not crazy about the redesign of Godzilla. It's like they made him too lanky. They're making him look more like an iguana or something like that. He's starting to look like them Godzilla 98.
Yeah, Godzilla 98. Yeah, because he was much thicker in the 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah, and people online complaining about, "Oh, you made Godzilla fat." It's like, have you ever seen Godzilla? He's got some thunder thighs. And even like the Toho rubber suit ones, they have big, thick thighs.
That's a thick boy.
Well, if you try to make it more realistically, he would have a larger lower body because he would need to hold the weight of that mass.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have background music.
Yeah. Duke knows what we're talking about, right, Duke?
Hey, listen, you gotta have. Sometimes you gotta. I mean, you know, as a guy built like
Fred Flintstone,
like Fred Flintstone, and Dan Connor from Roseanne. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with being a big
support. You gotta have stability.
You gotta have nothing wrong with being full figure. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep moving though. As long as you can move, it's all right. You know, a body like Eugene. I'm just saying. I was like, who can I cosplay? Okay, who can I cosplay if I'm be in The Walking Dead? I'm like, okay, like what? I ain't Rick Grimes. I ain't Otis. I'm not Otis. I don't look like that. I'm like, Eugene, like a good Eugene. You know what I'm saying? Like Dan Connor. You know what I mean? Just come in. Mullet, I'll be straight up ready. Yeah. But there you go, man.
You do know how to load ammo. So
I do know how to load ammo. There you go. That's it. Bingo. But I'm not gonna bite some dude. I'm not biting no dude on his crotch with my last ditch effort. That was funny. I still think that was really good stuff.
Yeah. All right, we got another super chat here. Officer Shader Hater says, Matt, do you think Marvel will ever make an Ultimate series movie from the comics? The Ultimates were like DC type dark, hence the Blob eats the Wasp. Well, so I mean, I love the Ultimate comics. I was a big fan of the Ultimates and Ultimate X-Men, Spider-Man, and Ultimate Fantastic Four. I read all those comics. And the MCU was very much like half and half, Ultimate Universe, standard 616 universe. There was a lot of stuff from the Ultimate Universe that they brought in and sprinkled in as far as character story arcs and the way characters were. There was a lot of Ultimate influence in the MCU, especially at the beginning.
Yep.
I don't know that they'll ever do a straight up Ultimate movie. Like, okay, here is the darker, grittier, more realistic version of the Avengers or anything like that. I don't think we're going to see that.
They've slid into too much of the slapstick, and they're doubling out on it.
I mean, even with the reboot coming up after Secret Wars, I don't think we're going to get the Ultimate Universe stuff in there.
No, I think that their alignment with Disney precludes a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you're going into some territories, I think that just their general audience is 11 and below, and a bunch of kids. And I get that they want to pander to us in our generation because we're the money of the operation. But like, I am just disappointed because I think that there is so much dark stuff that we would want to see, and there's abilities to see if they were to stretch out and be like, yes, here's our kid line. Like, this is the movies for kids. But like, no, this is like straight up real dark stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not going to do.
And there are signs that they are going to delve more into the darker stuff. I mean, Deadpool 3 is rated R. They have said that Blade is going to be rated R. Whenever the hell that comes out, who knows when that movie's coming out? I don't
think it's coming out.
Huh?
I doubt it's right now. It looks like it's not even going to come out because they gave the act to get him. They gave him approval on the scripts before they can go forward. So they actually have to write something good, or he said he can just basically say I don't want to do this movie and just keep denying turning out the scripts.
The rumors are he's the reason why the first director left. He didn't like the first director and the way that guy wanted to do the movie.
Yeah.
So they lost their original director on that movie. But who knows if we'll see that one.
That was to try to make him a secondary character in his own movie.
Yeah.
That CGI rendition that you showed, Matt, was so good. Did you? The X-Men
on Facebook?
Yeah, that was really good, man.
That was really good casting.
Amazing casting,
there was a couple that I disagreed with, but overall, like that was really good. Like they did a great job casting that.
No, the costumes were great. Everything was great about that. I was disappointed when I was like, oh, this is not a real thing. Because that was cool, man. That was really cool. Which I don't know. I long for the days where Marvel was edgy and in the comic world, and it did a lot more than DC did at a time frame to be that way. So
for those that are wondering what he's talking about, I put this on Toy Tubers. I'll put it on here. I'll show you guys. I don't think it's copywritten music, but I guess we'll find out.
This was good, man.
So this is kind of a fan casting, AI generated X-Men movie.
I was most excited. I think the best one I was surprised at was Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, oh, this is amazing if we could get this.
So we got Tom Hardy as Wolverine.
That'll totally work.
That's a great choice right there. Henry Cavill as Cyclops. That's another great choice.
Yeah. Look at that costume. That looks so cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one.
Professor
X.
This
one is what I like the most.
That's awesome, dude. I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
Austin Butler is Gambit. I mean, I only know him from a couple things, but what I've seen him in, yeah. Daniel Craig is Magneto.
Oh, dog.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I just realized, yes, that music is copywritten, so we're going to turn the music off for a second. Joel Edgerton is Beast. Great choice.
Oh, look at that. Look how good that looks.
Evan Rachel Wood. I don't like her. This one I'm like, man, I mean, I guess she looks okay. This is the chick from, for anybody that watched the
Titan
series.
That costume, bro, that costume is like awesome for her.
Yeah. But she played Starfire on the Titan series, and she'd make a great Storm. I'd be down with her being Storm.
And
I don't know this dude who they got as Iceman. I don't know who that is. So Naomi Scott, I mean, I know her as Jasmine from the Aladdin movie. Which the only thing I have this is one of the ones I was like, well, Psylocke's supposed to be Japanese. Like, she's not supposed to be like Middle Eastern. So that one kind of threw me off.
Well, her original body is European.
Well, yeah, her original body is she's a British chick. She's a blonde British chick. But this version of Psylocke with the purple hair
should be Japanese.
She's supposed to be Japanese. Sophia Boutella as Mystique, I'd watch that. Yeah. She'd be a great Mystique.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Great Colossus. I love this one, Mr. Sinister. Having Lucifer play Mr. Sinister.
Look how good he looks right there.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
She looks spot on.
Rami Malek as Nightcrawler is fucking awesome. I don't know how many people in here watched Mr. Robot, but he'd be a perfect fucking Nightcrawler. This is the dude from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I get behind that.
Billy. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, whatever. I'm not really.
Stephen Lang is about 15, 20 years too old to be Cable.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, yeah, I get it. 15, 20 years ago, he would have made a great Cable. He's just too old to do that now.
Yeah.
Although, you know who else would make a great Cable is Alan Richman.
Yeah.
Who's
like,
that?
he'd make a great Cable, too. Like, he would make a great Colossus. He'd also make a great Cable.
Jack
oh,
Reacher.
Alan Rich. Oh, yeah. I liked, didn't the, what about the guy who played in the Blue Alien thing? Who was the Marine guy from the Blue
that's
Alien
Stephen
thing?
Lang. That's Stephen
Okay.
Lang. And, like, at that time in 2005, when he was playing that,
yeah,
you know, almost 20 years ago.
What is Bryan Cranston playing? I missed it. What was he?
What's his face?
William
the
Stryker.
bad guy. Stryker.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And then, of course, they got to throw in Deadpool at the end. Which, by the way, that's not a bad choice for Deadpool.
No, it's not.
If
bad
you've
at
seen any, to be honest, Chris Pine is Deadpool. Like, I know they're not going to do that because Ryan Reynolds is you know, going to be in the MCU, but like, he's a great second choice. He'd make a good Deadpool. So, yeah, I mean, there's a couple that I'd change, but overall, that was a great fan casting. Like, overall, they did really good. So, I liked it, man. I liked it. It was cool. Good times. You may watch the new Bad Boys trailer.
Nope.
Bad Boys Ride or Die. It looked like we've gotten to the point. It looks like it's Will Smith teaming up with his retired uncle. Because I'm sorry, Martin Lawrence looks old as fuck. Like, Will Smith has held up really well over the years, being that I think he's like fucking late 50s. Martin Lawrence has not. He's not held up, man. Like, they need to put that dude before he is in a movie. Like, the studio needs to put him on like a fucking diet and get him in shape and shit because he looks fucking rough. But whatever. It was a good trailer. I like all the Bad Boys movies. I like the last one, the Bad Boys for Life.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a good, fun movie. I like the Bad Boys movies. This one looks like it's going to be more Bad Boys dumb fun, but they dropped that trailer. I think it comes out this summer. I'll go watch it. It looks good. I like all the Bad Boys movies. Did you watch the new episode of X-Men 97?
No, I did not.
I did.
So it's basically a very, very shortened version of the Inferno storyline. Sort of. It's like a lot. They compacted a lot of storylines into one episode, which was fine. It actually worked in the episode.
Yeah. I think it would have been better if they fleshed it out to 2 episodes, though.
Probably.
They condensed that way.
I think they're trying to do a lot in these 8 episodes because this season's only going to be 8 episodes. So I think they're trying to take a lot of classic storylines. You know, we've already had, you know, Trial of Magneto and I want to say the Inferno storyline and the whole Madeline Pryor storyline in one episode. And we're only 3 episodes in, but I will say I did like what they did with Madeline Pryor better here than in the comics. And I'll explain. In the comics, Jean Grey dies. Madeline Pryor is just some random chick that Cyclops meets that just happens to look exactly like Jean Grey. Now, later on, you find out she's a genetic clone created by Mr. Sinister, all that stuff. But it never made sense in the comics that without really any hesitation, Cyclops just starts hooking up with her and accepts she's this completely different person named Madeline Pryor. You know what I mean?
I think they retconned too. Jean actually didn't die. She was at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah. But like it didn't make sense that Cyclops and all the rest of the X-Men like pretty much accepted way too quickly that there's this other human being that looks identical to Jean Grey that shows up and falls in love with Cyclops right after Jean Grey dies. You know what I mean? Like that really, from a storytelling perspective, didn't make sense. In this, I think it worked much better because they just said, no, there is no Madeline Pryor, right? She's not a different person. Sinister swapped them. She thinks she's Jean Grey.
And and it's clever too with their powers. Their minds are linked.
Yeah.
Where they can't tell whose memories are whose.
Yeah. I think it worked actually really well story-wise, better than the original storyline from the comics. So I liked that. I thought it was a good episode.
The only nitpick I would have with the entire episode is when they go to get baby Nathan, Magneto, knowing he's facing a rogue telepath, why didn't he take his freaking helmet?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a helmet that protects you from telepaths.
By the way, I totally think we're getting Corsair this season.
Yeah, they're talking about
because
how
he was talking about his dad. Cyclops was talking about his dad.
Yep.
And they don't put that type of dialogue in there and make a point of him saying something about a character like that if that character's not going to show up later on. So I think Corsair is going to show up. We're going to see Cyclops' dad.
And for those who have not seen the finale of the original series, Charles is not dead.
Yes.
But the world thinks he's dead.
Yeah, the world, everybody thinks he's dead, but he's not. But I like it so far. I mean, look, you know, the big fear was that it was going to be all woke and shit. And so far, 3 episodes in, there hasn't been any woke shit in it. In fact, I even saw an interview with the guy who does Morph's voice, who, and yes, name withheld, Corsair was in the old series, but it was never revealed that that was his dad in the old series. They ran into the Starjammers, but Cyclops never knew that was his dad.
Yeah.
There
was a little hint in this last episode, though, that Morph is attracted to Wolverine.
Yes, there was that. But yeah, the guy who does Morph's voice is like, you know, he was doing an interview and I read it. He was like, I don't know why everybody freaked out about the whole non-binary thing. That was one person that said Morph is non-binary, but everybody needs to realize this is supposed to be 1997. That term doesn't exist. That term never comes up at all in this show. Nobody calls anybody non-binary because this is supposed to be 1997. They're like, whatever Morph is the same he's always been. He's always been able to be a woman or a man because of his powers, just like Mystique was.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody says anything about non-binary. He's like, the guy was like, it was this whole interview, and he's like, there's no There's no like LGBTQ agenda in this show or anything like that.
It's one of these things too, where one of the things happened with the Dungeons and Dragons movie. You get these idiot PR people that say stuff like that, and it has nothing. It's not in the movie, and it just pisses everybody off. For some stupid reason, a lot of these PR firms think rage clicks works in everything other than everything like it does on the news websites.
Yeah.
They don't work in movies. They don't work in other media. They only work on like, hey, you said something stupid on this website. I want to check it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in like watching TV shows, movies, or video games, whatever.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. And I'm glad it was wrong because I'm liking the show. I'm really liking the show a lot. The first 3 episodes have been great. They've managed to work some good storylines that I remember growing up with back in the 80s. They're pulling directly from Chris Claremont storylines, which I think he is like the greatest comic book writer of all time. And I mean, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving the show. Now, could they go into some woke shit in another episode? Absolutely. We still got 5 episodes to go, so who knows what the fuck's going to happen. But so far, 2 thumbs up, man. I'm enjoying the shit out of the show. So, and that's all I need. I'm good with that.
And at the end, too, Storm was wearing her Outback outfit.
Yes, she was. And that's the whole thing, because I know there was a lot of people, I saw a lot of people online going, why did they take Storm's powers? Why did they? I'm like, okay, guys, calm down. This is a storyline from the 80s where Storm lost her powers. This happened. She gets her powers back. Calm down. They were getting mad. Why would the writers take that's the horrible. Storm would never have lost her power. Bitch, she did lose her powers in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all not remember this? That's when she started wearing the fucking leather and shit.
They don't remember it because they don't read the comics.
Yeah, they don't read the fucking comics. This is a storyline from the comics where Storm lost her powers and started fucking. That's when she started wearing the black leather and all that shit. And that's when she got the mohawk, was when she lost her powers.
Yeah,
so
they just put the mohawk in early.
Yeah, they threw the mohawk in before she lost her powers. But like, people need to calm down. And look, I get it. The way Hollywood has treated fans are ready to be pissed at everything.
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
That is the Hollywood's thing. When they do something stupid, blame the fans. So they've made a hostile environment for the fans.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, we don't have background music.
Oh, I don't have background music. Shit. This whole time we've been an hour in, still don't have background music. Yeah, it's. Look, Hollywood's conditioned people to the minute they see something that looks different. Oh fuck! They're fucking with fans again. I get it; it's Hollywood's fault. But in this particular case, that's a thing straight out of the comics. When Storm lost her powers, so that's everybody can kind of calm down on that. That she'll get her powers back. Trust me, they're coming back. Okay.
Just about every Omega level powered character has lost her powers at one time.
Yeah.
Oh, no more mutants. Well, Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Depowered like 90% of the mutants on the Earth.
Yep. I mean, so far I'm loving the show. If I had to say one complaint, it's that I hope they're not just rushing every major storyline into one episode story arcs.
Yeah. That would suck.
Because so far we've gotten Trial of Magneto and the whole Madeline Pryor saga. Each got one episode. And in the comics, these were things that lasted months over multiple issues. And while so far it's worked, I thought the Trial of Magneto worked for one episode. I thought they did the Madeline Pryor storyline. It worked for the one episode. Not every storyline can be knocked out in one episode. So hopefully they're not going to do that. I don't know. Depends on what storylines they go with, I guess. So
that's my biggest complaint is how condensed the stories are being right now.
Yeah. Which and I get it to an extent because you're doing an 8-episode run and you want to get as much classic X-Men goodness and nostalgia in the first season to get people interested as you possibly can. So I understand
You don't pull revelations and kill off your main character and completely change.
So I get the thought process, but it works for some storylines, but it's not going to work for all of them. So hopefully they have chosen carefully what storylines they're going to drop into this first season, and not just ruin a good storyline.
Like you touched on before, though, I did like how they handled the clone of Jean Grey thing. It's a unique take on it, and it worked.
Yeah, it worked, and I thought it worked better than it did in the comics.
Yep.
So that was a good spin on that storyline, and actually taking the storyline and making it better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Did you notice how inaccurate the Goblin Queen figure is compared to the show?
Oh, totally, yeah. She's way more scantily clad in the cartoon than that action figure.
Yep. You can look at the sculpt of the figure. They actually meant for it to have bare hips, but they didn't do it.
Well, a little paint take care of that.
Yep. I don't have my camera on. I've got a whole rack of like skin flesh tone paints here now. I got a bunch of pro acrylic paints. Ordered all their flesh tones.
Oh, nice. I need to get some more flesh tones. I've got like one.
The pro acrylics, man, they're nice. They go on smooth like testers. I was actually able to mix up a batch very closely to the color I used to use all the time.
Oh, nice. Oh, because people were asking me repeatedly over the last few weeks if I was going to watch the second season of Halo, and I said I would wait till it was all out and watch it, which is what I did with the first season. So I did watch Halo this week, season 2, and I found that I basically have the same opinion of it that I did on the first season, which is that first of all, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's not like a great show or anything. Second, the whole first half, the first 4 episodes are just all build up and quite honestly rather boring. However, in the first season and in the second season, in the second half, the show actually gets pretty good. I didn't think they were going to do that with, I felt like, okay, we had enough build up in the first season. Like, we don't need to do a bunch of build up in the second season, but sure as shit, they gave it to us anyway. So the first half of the second season is honestly kind of fucking boring. If you stick it out, the last 4 episodes are actually really good. A lot of action. I don't know that this show can really go anywhere else because the end of season 2 ends where the game starts, the first game. You know what I mean? Where, UNSC and the Covenant have found the Halo. You know what I mean? Spoiler alert, the Flood show up in this, which was actually done really well. It's okay. Like, I don't hate myself for watching it. Like, if you're a Halo fan, you should probably watch it. There's some cool stuff in there, but just be prepared. Like, it's going to be like 4 episodes of boring build-up before the show, you start getting to the good part of the storyline for season 2, which again, I think is just so stupid. I don't know why they already did it in season 1 because they had to, because I guess they had to. For people that don't know anything about Halo or whatever. And so you got to build up these characters in this world and all this stuff, right? There was no reason to do it again in season 2. So it was just like a waste of 4. You could have taken every relevant thing that happened in the first 4 episodes of season 2 and packed it into 1 episode. There was no reason to stretch it out to 4 episodes. You could have had a 5-episode run for season 2 and it would have worked really well. But they didn't. So you got to deal with that. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say you should watch this show or anything. Like, do what you fucking want to do. It was fine. Overall, by the end of it, I enjoyed it. But like, I don't know. I'm not gonna die on the hill of whether or not Halo season 2 is any good. Like, it's okay. You know, we had some cool stuff, especially in the second half. There was some great action scenes. They get way more, like the Arbiter shows up, and they get the Halo, and the Flood shows up, and like there's some cool stuff in it. There's some cool like Halo things going on in the second half, and a lot of good action and all kinds of stuff. But in the end, it's still a mediocre show at best. You know what I mean? So, is that a good review? It's mediocre.
It's a good review. Comprehensive. So
it's mediocre.
It's mediocre if nothing. You can't find anything else on the 15,000 streaming service.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I say if you're a Halo fan, it's worth watching. Just understand what you're going to be watching. You know what I mean? Like, understand you're not watching the greatest Halo thing ever. Not even close. So, if you can, mitigate your expectations, you'll probably be where I am, which is it was fine. I don't hate myself because I watched it, but I'll probably never watch it again, and I'm fine with that. This is not something I'm going to go back and rewatch ever. So, there you go. There's my thoroughly engrossing review of Halo Season 2.
Watch it if you want to. If you don't, you're not missing anything.
Yeah, you're not missing anything if you don't watch it. The only other thing I really watched this week that I wanted to talk about was not that I watched it here, but Apple TV dropped a 3-hour 2-part Steve Martin documentary, which was really good, actually. I grew up with Steve Martin, as most people did of my age range. Now, I grew up with movie star Steve Martin, because by the time I started watching movies when I was a kid, which would have been in the early 80s, he had already, transitioned away from doing comedy to doing movies. And this documentary actually, I think, does a really good job of breaking it up. Like, almost the entire first episode is all about him growing up and doing comedy. And like the first episode ends when he decides that he's going to stop doing comedy and start doing movies. So I found the first part much more interesting just because I didn't grow up with Steve Martin's comedy, or how he became a comedian and all that shit.
Did you ever hear the story of him meeting Elvis?
Yes, he actually tells that story in this.
Oh, okay. I love that story.
Show. Yeah. So I, as somebody who just didn't grow up with his comedy, like I remember watching reruns and seeing him on Saturday Night Live and stuff, but like his actual stand-up, I didn't grow up with that because that was all pre-1977 when I was born. So I found that shit really interesting. Like, by the way, did you know he basically all he's ever done is be either a comedian or an actor? Like, his first job when he was 15 years old was working in a magic shop at Disneyland.
Yep. And
he never stopped. Like, that's all he's ever done. He's never had another job. Yeah, I found it really interesting, man. I thought it was good. I love Steve Martin. I grew up with Steve Martin. He was in all these fucking movies growing up, that I loved, The Jerk and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels and, just like everything. Like, I liked Steve Martin. He was like always one of the biggest comedians growing up, especially in the 80s, but even going into the 90s. So I thought it was very interesting. I've gotten to that point in my life. I'm old enough to where I appreciate a documentary, because if you had gone back 10 or 15 years, there's no way in hell you would have caught me watching a documentary about fucking anything. But I've hit that point in my 40s where I actually like documentaries. Especially about something interesting. No, it's good, man. I recommend you check it out. If you're a fan of Steve Martin. If you don't give a fuck about Steve Martin, then don't watch it. But if you grew up with Steve Martin, then hell yeah, it was good. It's 3 fucking hours long though, man. Holy shit. It's 2.5 hour long episodes, which is fucking crazy. But
where's it? What platform?
It was on Apple TV Plus on F Movies, which is where I watched it, of course.
I'll be visiting that in the morning for our, Walking Dead. So
Yeah, if you want to just like sit back and like kind of watch a cool documentary about Steve Martin, then and learn some shit you may not have known, especially if you're my age or younger. You know, I mean, I knew he was a comedian and did stand up, but like I just didn't grow up with it, so I never watched it. You know, and he does in the thing he says he made the decision when he decided to go to movies. He's like, I'm never going to do stand up again. I'm going to be a movie actor, and he never did. He has not done stand up since like in 1978 or whatever. You know what I mean? He's never done a stand up show. But yeah, it was good, man. I liked it. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Name with Hell says, is season 2 finished? Yes, season 2 of Halo is finished. It's done. You can get all. It's 8 episodes. So yeah, you can go and watch that and maybe enjoy it. I don't know. You might. I'm not gonna say you will. I ain't making no promises here. I think the biggest problem with Halo is just that I mean, yes, you totally could have done Halo right, but Halo is such a, and I think maybe this is a Hollywood thing, and maybe the people that you know watched that or that made this show just are in that camp, because I don't think a lot of people in Hollywood aren't in that camp, which is most of them just think that, well, it's a video game. Like, how much story can there be? And for anybody that's ever fucking played Halo, you know there is a huge complex story and mythology in the Halo universe. And so it was just really
online trying to defend the studios, like, Halo don't have much of a story anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And it totally fucking does. So unless you're going to do it right, like, you're never going to live up to what the game has already given people when it comes to story. And I think that's a big part of what happened here is you had a bunch of people put together a show that thought, well, it's just a video game. So there's probably not a lot of mythology here. There's probably not a lot of story here. And, you know, it's like, I mean, imagine if somebody went in to make Game of Thrones. And was like, well, there's just not a lot of story here, so we're just gonna do what we want.
Yep.
Wait, no, there's a ton of fucking story in Game of Thrones, motherfucker. Like,
what are you talking about? You got material.
So it's kind of like that. Like, it's okay. It's all right.
It's when Hollywood adapts anything anymore. Comic book movies or any kind of franchise. It's like, well, those are childish. We need to, or they don't have any good fiction. We'll make our own.
Yeah. So you know, whatever.
That's the problem with Marvel nowadays too. You've seen everybody's seen the videos where all these people writing for Marvel is told, don't read the comics, don't learn anything about the characters.
Oh my gosh! Did you read that article about the Star Wars acolyte? And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm proud that I'm on the writer, and I've never touched a scene Star Wars, and I bring an aspect to it, and I just want to vomit." Yeah. You're writing for Star Wars, and you've never seen Star Wars. You know, you're not edgy and cool. You're stupid. You're absolutely stupid.
You're going to. All you're going to do is get people to hate your thing.
Yes. That's it. That's all you're going to do.
Anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to write an entire movie or television series about the life experience of people in the alphabet community. And then I want to go, but you know what? I'm not in the alphabet community and I don't care about it. And I did no research into the people who live those lives. So I'm going to bring a new, fresh take on what it's like to be gay and write a whole story on it and see how these motherfuckers like that shit. Because that's the same thing. Yep. It's like, oh, well, I'm from outside of this and I'm proud I'm from outside of this. And I'm going to bring my own take on this thing that so many people care about, and I'm going to change it up. Well, bitch, that's not how you fucking do that.
Didn't laugh about it.
Didn't laugh about it. Yeah, exactly. Like, no, that's.
Oh, and if people don't like it, they're just bigots.
Yeah. No, motherfucker. Like, that's not how this shit goes. So, I don't know. It's bullshit. But I mean, and look, I mean, even before all this shit came out and all these interviews, we talked about this a week and a half ago. The fucking trailer looked like dog shit. It looked like a fucking fan trailer.
I've seen better fan
trailers. It looked
trailers.
like a good show. Putting aside whatever bullshit this lady's bringing to it, the show doesn't look good. It was a shitty trailer that did not get me interested at all. You know? So I think you failed on multiple levels here. You are intentionally going against the fans of the franchise, and I don't think you made anything good. And I think this is a crutch. I know it's been a crutch in comic books, and it's certainly been a crutch in Hollywood as well, where people who aren't good at the thing they're doing use the excuse of, well, I'm trying to shake things up and do it different. No, you're just a shitty filmmaker.
Yep.
That's what you are. And so you feel like you have to throw in a bunch of political agenda bullshit or whatever to make up and excuse the fact that fucking your stuff is dog shit. And you don't know how to write a story, and you don't know how to film a story. You don't understand the thing that you're doing. You don't understand why people are fans of a particular franchise or character or storyline. And you're just bad at your fucking job is what it is. You don't know how to make good shit. So your excuse is, well, I did it on purpose. I made it different on purpose. Because you don't want to just say you're shitty at making movies or TV shows or comic books, because that would be telling the truth, and you'd have to admit you suck at your fucking job. So instead, you bring in a bunch of bullshit political ideas, ruin a thing, make a shitty fucking movie, TV, or comic book, and then you can be like, oh, well, if you didn't like it, you're a fucking bigot. No, we didn't like it because you suck. Like, you made a shitty thing, and you tried to cover it up and do a patchwork of some political bullshit over the top of it, so that you could use that as an excuse that you don't know what the fuck you're doing. That's what's happening. That's what's happening, because none of these things have been good. Like, how many times? And look, I think more than anybody else, I can look at something and ignore the political bullshit in it. I can. I don't. That doesn't mean I always will enjoy it. But I can watch a movie or a TV show or whatever, and if there's, some political agenda in there, I can watch it and go, okay, but was the movie still good? Were the characters still good? Did I still enjoy it overall? Right? I can do that. Some people can't. Some people can. I can do that, and I've done that many times. And because there's stuff that I've watched and liked that people are like, oh, but what about this and this and this? And I'm like, yeah, but the show was still good. But so much of the shit that's coming out is just not good. Even if you ignore the whatever political bullshit agenda they're putting in it, it's got horrible direction. It's got horrible dialogue. It's got horrible actors. The cinematography looks fucked up. The CGI sucks. You know what I mean?
Well, we grew up watching Star Trek. Star Trek's basically a socialist society. We can watch it because it was written really well.
Yes. Star Trek, for lack of a better term, was woke.
Yes.
Now, not woke by today's standards because it's all different, but like the idea of introducing people to things and ideas that might not be normal for them, and saying, hey, you shouldn't hate people because they're different or whatever it is something Star Trek's been doing since the 1960s. It's something that Next Generation did fucking damn near every episode.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
First episode had one of Starfleet uniforms with male dresses.
Yes. but it was done well. These were well-written shows that made you think. They put time and effort into, trying to make valid and, interesting points to the audience. And they don't do that anymore because these people don't know how to make shit. They don't know how to write. They don't know how to direct. They don't know how to fucking act.
Well,
they don't know how to do this shit. All they know how to do is beat people over the head with a political agenda.
Well, they started when fans didn't like the new Star Trek because it's poorly written. Like, oh, just a bunch of bigots. Star Trek fans. Calling them bigots.
Yeah, it's like, but we've watched all of the other Star Trek and loved it. We are not the bigots. Yeah, it's because you don't know how to make a good fucking show. But whatever. That's where we're at now, though. That's where we're at. I don't think this lady who's making fucking Acolyte knows how to make a good fucking show. I don't think she's good at her job.
No. And that's 101.
That's all the evidence you needed of that.
Well,
that's all we've ever asked, is that you have a love and respect for Star Wars. And if you don't have that, you don't belong in working on it. I mean, like, it'd be like me doing a car guy thing. I don't know. I'm not a car guy, man. I don't know that world. That's not going to be something I'm going to jump into and make and be a part of. I don't add anything. You don't need my perspective, okay?
Yeah. What do you
and I don't need their perspective.
Weinstein's pimp. Let's plot him with women.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like being not a car guy and being like, I'm going to design a car and I know exactly how to make a car that everybody's going to love. And if you don't love it, you're a bigot. It's like,
that's most of most of like the major modern automotive manufacturers right now.
Like, no, that's not how this shit works. Make something good and people will love it. So, but that's where we are now. And you got to be fucking careful of every single thing that Hollywood puts out, movies, TV shows, whatever, because that seems to be the agenda going forward, to fucking shit on fandom, to push a political agenda and hire people to make things that don't know what the fuck they're doing, that were only hired because of identity politics. That's why they were hired to direct something or act in something or write something, is because of how they identify. Oh, well, we need a woman to direct this thing. Okay, well, is she good? Does she know what she's fucking doing? It doesn't matter. We need a woman to direct this thing because it stars a woman. Well, that doesn't mean it's going to be good. Like,
you just don't like women.
Yeah, you're just a sexist. You're just, oh, fuck you. You're a sexist bigot.
That's
no, I just want somebody that knows how to fucking make some good shit. How about that?
That's just misogynist, or define misogyny. They break down and cry.
Shit. What?
I can't handle your microaggressions.
Oh no, you've microaggressed me. Okay, well, how about I slap the shit out of you till you stop caring about it? Stupid.
Oh my god, it's macroaggressions.
God damn, so fucking pathetic. But that's where we are as geeks, as fans of genre television and movies and comic books and literature. We are now at a point that Hollywood has taken over genre. They've taken over sci-fi and fantasy and horror and all these things, comic books, superheroes, all these things we grew up loving.
They guilt tripped everybody into it's like, you shouldn't gatekeep. Really, back behind that, everybody should have been gatekeeping to keep people that's not actually fans out of it.
Yep. Because now they're just trying to do everything they can, seemingly, to ruin everything we grew up on. Yep. It's like, man, if you want to make a movie about whatever the fuck, then make a movie about that. Don't take something that's already established.
Well, they
fuck it
freely admit why they do it. When they changed King Grayskull to a black man in the new Kevin Smith crap show, the producer admitted it's like, oh, we don't like to make new characters to push what we want because people don't like new characters because they can't write. It's not people don't like new characters. We proved that last night. We love Animal Warriors: The Kingdom.
Yeah.
It has to be a good property.
Yes, exactly. It has to be good and have
and
good
these people
characters and good stories.
And they're animal people, and
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is fucking awesome,
and
I enjoy
that
it
whole
because
thing,
they're great
representation stuff too, is like, I don't need to see myself in animals.
Yeah. But it's you're right. It's because they can't write. They don't have the ability to create interesting, compelling characters or interesting, compelling stories. So what do? You take something that's already established and you fuck it up.
Yep.
You go like, well, then I'm going to take this thing that's already here that you already love because I don't have the talent or ability to make my own fucking thing.
Like
which, by the way, if you notice, all the people they bring in, whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever it is, these people, these writers and these showrunners and these directors, right? By the way, they've made other shit. It's just that it was bad and nobody gave a fuck about it.
Yep.
That's why you've not heard of it. Nobody heard of these people until they started writing Star Wars, Star Trek, or fucking a Marvel movie or some comic book. Because the other stuff they made fucking sucked. Because they're not good at writing or directing or whatever it is.
Like DC's on its tirade right now, turning every mainstream male character gay. Like, and especially the ones that were like ladies' men's before. They were players. Those are the ones they hit first. Like Tim Drake, he's gay now.
I'm going to write a comic book about how, due to, I don't know, the chemicals in the water, the entire world turns gay. And then in one generation, everybody dies and the world ends. Like, that's the point of the story. Because, look, dude, not everybody can be gay. In fact, not most people can be gay. In fact, almost nobody is actually gay or trans or whatever else. And for those people that are, awesome, cool. I don't give a shit. But like this fucking thing, well, everybody's gay a little bit, or everybody identifies as something else, or is non-binary, or a butterfly, or fucking trans, or something. No, they're not. The world wouldn't fucking exist if that was true. Humanity would have fucking died off.
They're even trying to like rewrite history, saying it's been around for hundreds of years. It's like, no. They even try to these people that's never read the Bible. They even try to say, oh, there's transgenders in the Bible.
No, there's not.
No, they're not.
There's not.
They want to take a mentions of eunuchs in the Bible.
Yeah, that's not being trans. That's being a slave that they cut your fucking balls off. Okay.
Well, there's just one line in there. If I remember correctly, too, it's a mistranslation of like people that chose to be eunuchs. Like they were still intact, but they just basically they're choosing to be celibate.
People are fucking stupid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to do this, but we have to cut tonight's chat a little bit short. The reason being I have to actually leave. Me and my wife are going somewhere. I promised her that I would leave at 8:30, that I would cut the show off at 8:30 instead of going for 2 or 2.5 hours or whatever it is. So I've got something I've got to go do, but I wanted to get a show in tonight. An hour and a half is good. I think an hour and a half is good. And we did discuss everything I wanted to talk about. So
there was some Marvel Legends reveals today.
I did see that. That will definitely, yes. From what I saw, there was some good ones. There was also some McFarlane stuff that I didn't give a shit about, except his DC Direct stuff.
The She-Hulk looks really good.
Yeah. There was some good stuff. Yeah, I've been seeing it posted all over. I think I posted some of the McFarlane stuff, but I didn't post any of the Marvel Legends stuff because that came later and I was busy. But
yeah,
yeah,
Joe style O-ring Ghostbusters, 3 3/4 inch.
Oh, nice! I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're just like vintage G.I. Joes.
Oh, nice. Well, we will have, I am sure, lots to talk about on Friday.
Yes,
hopefully.
sir.
So, yes, please to be joining us on Friday for Collector Fusion. But yep, that will do it for today. So we will see you guys next time. Jared's got his chat tomorrow. Duke, I'm sure you're doing a chat tomorrow at some point. You do one damn near every day. And then I'll be back on Monday on the NEA channel. Come back and check that out. But that will do it for today. We'll see you guys next week for more Weekend Geek. Take it easy, guys. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll see you guys next time. So later, dudes.